Hey everyone, welcome back to the Incredible India podcast series. I'm your host, Sam, and joining me today is our expert guide, Taylor. So our mission today, we want to go way beyond just the Taj Mahal when thinking about India's World Heritage Sites. You know that feeling. When you're planning a trip and there are just so many incredible options, it kind of triggers decision fatigue. Well, we're aiming to give you a bit of a shortcut. We'll distill the really fascinating bits, the key insights about India's other 37 amazing treasures, help you figure out which ones might genuinely speak to you.
Exactly. And it's not just about checking boxes on some travel list, is it? These places, I mean, they're so much more than just old buildings or pretty views. They are really living links to India's incredibly deep culture, its amazing nature, and a history that just stretches back for millennia. So this deep dive hopefully will help you get not just what these sites are, but really why they're significant and how visiting them can be this genuinely authentic cultural experience that might, actually change how you see things.
Okay, let's unpack this then right from the start. We hear UNESCO World Heritage Site all the time, but what actually makes a place, earn that title? It can't just be age or beauty, surely. What's the real secret sauce there?
That's a really good question. And it's way more strict than most people think. A site has to meet at least one of 10 specific criteria. And these range from being like a masterpiece of human created genius all the way to having exceptional natural beauty or unique geological features. The selection process itself is super rigorous. Countries nominate sites, then a UNESCO committee evaluates them meticulously. They look at authenticity, integrity, protection plans, the site's global significance. Think of it like the Olympics of heritage, honestly. Only the absolute best, the most universally important places make the final cut.
The Olympics of Heritage. I like that. It really paints a picture. So how does India actually fare in this Global Heritage Olympics? I've heard they're doing pretty well.
Pretty well is definitely an understatement. India currently has 38 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, and that breaks down into 30 cultural sites, temples, forts, that kind of thing. Then 7 natural sites, national parks, mountain ranges, and one very rare mixed site, Kaziranga National Park, which has both cultural and natural importance. This puts India 6th in the entire world for the number of UNESCO sites, right up there with places like Italy and China.
Wow, 6th. That's seriously impressive. What does that tell us about India's unique place in World Heritage?
It tells us India is just this incredible reservoir of civilization and natural wonder. These sites, they literally map out India's story over 5,000 years, from ancient Buddhist monuments right up to, say, colonial-era mountain railways. It's all there. And it's not even a closed book. India has another 42 sites on the tentative list waiting for their turn. It just highlights the sheer depth and richness of India's legacy, a story as complex and layered as you'll find anywhere.
Absolutely fascinating. Okay, so for listeners maybe dreaming of a trip, let's dive into some specific cultural highlights. We kind of start with the Taj Mahal, right? India's crown jewel, the ultimate love letter. But beyond that famous image, what really makes the Taj stand out? What should people look for?
Well, beyond its obvious, stunning beauty, the Taj's real power comes from its perfection. And the story behind it, of course. That symmetry isn't just nice to look at. It's a profound statement in Mughal architecture. It symbolizes divine balance, perfection, the way it seems to almost float. And that reflection in the pools, it's just breathtaking, creates this illusion. That's why, 7 to 8 million people visit every year. I always suggest going really early in the morning, that golden light everyone talks about. It's real. It just bathes the marble in this warm, changing glow. It feels magical. Oh, and crucial tip, it's closed on Fridays for prayers. Remember that.
Right, good tip. I can almost picture that morning light.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move north a bit to Jaipur, the Pink City. It's another UNESCO hub. What makes its architecture so special?
Jaipur has this really unique blend of Rajput and Mughal styles. You see it everywhere. Take Amber Fort up on the hill. It's more than a fortress. Those mirrored halls, the intricate carvings. They speak of royal life, clever design to handle the heat and light. Then you've got the city palace. Part of it's still a royal home, which is amazing. You get textiles, weapons, a real glimpse into that world. But for me, the most mind-bending place is Jantar Mantar.
Jantar Mantar, what's that?
It looks like some kind of giant abstract sculpture park, but it's actually an 18th century astronomical observatory. These massive stone instruments they could track stars, predict eclipses with, like, scary accuracy for that time. Really makes you think.
Wow, ancient science in plain sight. Okay, next up, the Kaziranga temples. Most people hear Kaziranga and immediately think of, well, the erotic sculptures. What's the bigger picture there?
Yeah, that's the common perception, but it's actually a tiny part of the story. Only about 10% of the carvings are erotic. The real marvel of Kaziranga, built around 1,000 years ago, is how the temples are like this visual encyclopedia of 10th century life and belief. The Western group of temples, especially the Kandariya Mahadeva temple, it's just spectacular. It's over 100 feet high, covered in more than 800 sculptures. Gods, goddesses, musicians, warriors, daily life scenes, the detail, the movement carved into sandstone, it's incredible craftsmanship. And seeing them in the soft light of early morning or late afternoon, the sandstone just glows, the figures almost seem to move.
Sounds like history carved right into the walls.
Yeah.
Okay, and then there's Hampi. You mentioned it's living heritage. What does that mean exactly?
Hampi is different. Imagine the surreal landscape, huge boulders everywhere, and scattered among them over 500 monuments from this powerful 14th century empire. But what makes it living is that it's not just a museum piece. You'll see pilgrims worshiping in temples that have been active for centuries, using the same river Ghats along the Tungabhadra that people used hundreds of years ago. It feels connected to the past in a very real way. The Vitala Temple complex is a must-see. The stone chariot is iconic, of course, and the musical pillars, they actually do produce different musical notes when tapped gently. It's wild.
Musical pillars.
Seriously.
An acoustic marvel. And for an unforgettable moment, climb a Tonga Hill for sunset. Seeing that whole ancient city spread out below, bathed in gold. Feels like the ruins themselves are whispering stories, history you can feel.
What an image. Okay, let's switch from human creations to nature's wonders. India has some incredible natural UNESCO sites, too. Tell us about Kaziranga National Park. It's famous for the one-horned rhino, right? Oh, absolutely. Kaziranga is just raw wilderness. Picture being on a jeep safari, cruising through this tall elephant grass as the mist rises, and then suddenly there it is, this massive, prehistoric-looking greater one-horned rhinoceros. This park is basically their last major stronghold on Earth, and the conservation story there is just phenomenal. Back in the early 1900s, there were maybe only 200 left. Now, over 2,400 in Kaziranga alone. That's 2/3 of the entire world population right there in that park.
Wow, from 200 to 2,400. That's incredible.
It really is. But it's not just rhinos. Kaziranga also has the highest density of tigers in India, plus wild elephants, water buffalo, swamp deer. It's teeming with life.
A true wildlife haven. Okay, then there are the Western Ghats. I hear they're a biodiversity hotspot. What makes them so special ecologically?
The Western Ghats are amazing and often fly under the radar compared to, say, the Himalayas, but they are incredibly important. These mountains are actually older than the Himalayas, stretching about 1,600 kilometers down India's west coast. They're like a living laboratory for evolution. You've got over 7,500 species of flowering plants, 500 plus bird species, and just tons of endemic creatures, amphibians, reptiles, insects found nowhere else on the planet.
Wow, why so much unique life there?
The secret is their ancient history and isolation. They broke off from the supercontinent Gondwanaland maybe 150 million years ago. That long isolation allowed life to evolve in really unique ways. It's like a biological treasure chest.
A living time capsule. Got it. And finally, in the natural wonders category, the Sundarbans, the world's largest mangrove forest.
That's right. The Sundarbans is this absolutely mind-boggling maze of tidal rivers, creeks, and islands shared between India and Bangladesh. Land and water are constantly shifting, and it's famous, of course, for its tigers.
Swimming tigers.
Swimming tigers. Bengal tigers here have adapted incredibly. They swim between islands hunting prey. Some even climb trees. There are around 100 or so in the Indian part. And the mangroves themselves are just engineering marvels. Those breathing roots you see sticking out of the mud. They act like snorkels, letting the trees survive in salty, waterlogged soil that's low on oxygen. Plus, these forests are crucial. They act as nature's hurricane barrier, protecting billions of people from cyclones. They're vital ecosystems.
Amazing adaptations, both the tigers and the trees. Okay, so we've covered some big names, both cultural and natural. But what about those UNESCO sites that are maybe a bit more off the beaten path? Any hidden gems we should know about?
Oh, definitely. What's fascinating here is that India's list has some incredible, really immersive experiences away from the main crowds. Let's talk about the mountain railways of India. Have you ever wanted to ride a train that feels like a time machine?
Huh. Sounds intriguing. Tell me more.
These are basically historic, narrow-gauge railway lines built during British colonial times. And they're still running, chugging through absolutely stunning scenery. There's the Darjeeling Himalayan Railway, the famous toy train. It winds through misty mountains, past bright green tea gardens. The views are just spectacular, and it's slow, so you really absorb it. Then down south, the Nilgiri Mountain Railway uses this unique rack and pinion system to climb really steep hills in the Blue Mountains. Again, it's slow travel at its best. And the Kalka-Shimla Railway. That's an engineering marvel. Over 100 tunnels, more than 800 bridges. It climbs up to Shimla, the old British summer capital. A truly unforgettable journey.
A train is a time machine. I love that idea. What else is hidden away?
Well, if you think prehistoric art is just, crude drawings, the rock shelters of Bhimbetka will completely blow your mind. They're hidden away in forests in Madhya Pradesh. Over 700 natural rock shelters, and many have paintings dating back, wait for it, 30,000 years.
30,000 years, seriously.
Yes, seriously. The art shows hunting, dancing, music, even animals that are now extinct. Some shelters have layers of paintings, like an ancient message board. And what's incredible is how vibrant the colors still are, mostly reds and whites, made from local minerals. They've lasted millennia. It's a direct window into our deep past.
That's unbelievable. A prehistoric art gallery. Okay, how about an archaeological site that maybe isn't swarming with tourists?
Right. For that, you should look at Champaner Pavagad Archaeological Park in Gujarat. Honestly, it's a huge mistake to miss this if you're in the region. It's a dual site. You have Pavagad Hill, which is a pilgrimage site with Hindu and Jain temples, including the ancient Kalika Mata temple right at the top. And then down below is Champaner, which is essentially a ghost town, a remarkably preserved Islamic pre-Mughal city, basically frozen in the 16th century.
A ghost town. Wow.
Yeah, the Jami Masjid main mosque there is just stunning, beautiful architecture, intricate details, and you can often explore the ruins, palaces, mosques, stepwells almost by yourself. It feels incredibly atmospheric.
Sounds like an explorer's dream.
Yeah.
Okay, for those seeking pure, raw wilderness beyond the Rhino Park.
For true, deep wilderness, head to the Great Himalayan National Park in Himachal Pradesh. It's huge, over 900 square kilometers, protecting pristine alpine meadows, dense forests, glaciers, a huge range of altitudes. It's challenging trekking, definitely. But the rewards are immense. You might get glimpses of rare wildlife like the snow leopard, Himalayan tahr, or the stunning monal pheasant. The ecosystems change dramatically as you climb, from around 1,800 meters up to over 5,000 meters. It's just pure, untouched Himalayan nature.
Perfect for serious trekkers. And one more. An ancient center of learning.
Ah, yes. The Nalanda University ruins in Bihar. This place was basically the Harvard of the ancient world, founded in the 5th century CE. Long before Oxford or Cambridge, Nalanda was this massive Buddhist monastery and university. It drew students and scholars from all over Asia, Tibet, China, Korea, you name it. At its height, it might have had 10,000 students and 2,000 teachers. Imagine.
That's incredible scale.
It is. And walking through the excavated ruins today, the monk cells, lecture halls, temples, meditation areas, you can still feel the intellectual energy. There's a famous, though maybe legendary, story that its library was so vast it burned for 3 months when invaders destroyed the site. Think of the knowledge lost. The main stupa is still massive. It's a powerful place reminding you of India's ancient role as a global center of learning.
Just incredible stories. Okay, so we've covered a lot of amazing places. Let's bring it back to the listener. What does all this mean for you if you're actually planning a trip? Let's get into some practical tips. First off, timing. When's the best season to visit?
Right. Timing is key for comfort. For the northern sites like the Taj, Delhi forts, Jaipur, definitely winter, so November to February. Pleasant days, around 15 degrees Cetum, much better than the summer heat. For Western India's caves and temples like Ellora or Elephanta near Mumbai, October to March is ideal, nice and mild. Down south, for places like Hampi or Mahabalipuram, the monsoon season, roughly June to September, can actually be quite nice, cooler, greener. But do check local forecasts, as rain can be heavy sometimes. And for the northeast, like Kaziranga, the best window is October to April, before the heavy monsoons hit.
Makes sense. And what about planning an itinerary with multiple sites? It sounds like it could get overwhelming fast. Any advice?
Absolutely. The number one tip, don't try to cram too much in, resist the urge.
Easier said than done sometimes.
I know, but trying to see 7 sites in 7 days just leads to burnout and blurry photos. Much better to group sites regionally. Focus on the north or the south, etc. And allow at least 1, preferably 2, full days for each major site. Really let it sink in. Book popular trains well in advance, weeks, even months, especially for AC classes. Maybe mix overnight train journeys with a proper hotel stay afterwards to rest and recover.
Yeah.
Oh, and definitely download Google Maps offline for the areas you'll be visiting. Don't rely on constant connectivity. And for first-timers, the Golden Triangle, Delhi, Agra, Jaipur is still a great introduction. 5 UNESCO sites, easy travel between them, good infrastructure.
Solid advice. Okay, photos. Many of us love taking pictures. Any specific tips or, importantly, restrictions we need to know about at these sites?
Yes, photography rules are important. Many sites restrict tripods or professional-looking gear unless you get prior permission, so check ahead if you have big lenses. Also, inside some sacred areas, particularly active temples or tombs, photography might be banned entirely. Respect those signs.
Right, respect is key.
Absolutely. For great shots, that early morning arrival at the Taj really pays off before the main crowds. Sunset at Hampi over the ruins is also spectacular. A little practical tip: buy entry tickets the day before if possible, especially at popular places, to skip the morning queue when the light is best. Carry lens wipes. India can be dusty. A wide-angle lens is often great for capturing the scale of forts and cave temples. But again, always respect the no photo signs. They're there for preservation or sanctity.
Good reminders. Finally, and maybe most importantly, how can we as visitors actually help conserve these amazing places? How can responsible tourism make a difference?
It makes a huge difference. Think about the sheer number of visitors. Places like the Taj get tens of thousands daily in peak season. That's a lot of impact. But simple actions really add up. Always stay on the marked paths. Never touch the carvings or paintings. Oils from hands can cause damage over time, even if it doesn't seem like it. Choose local guides who are certified. Support local economies. Buy handicrafts from artisans near the sites. And if you see something concerning damage, litter, people breaking rules, report it politely to the site staff. Remember, too, your entrance fees directly help fund vital restoration and upkeep at many of these sites. So your visit, done responsibly, really does contribute. If we connect this back to the bigger picture, visiting these sites is really about, well, connecting with something timeless. Whether you choose the iconic Taj or the living history of Hampi, or you venture into those biodiversity hotspots, these sites offer this incredible, intimate connection to India's vast heritage and its stunning landscapes.
So, as you think about your own journey to explore India's UNESCO treasures, maybe consider this. How do these incredible places, spanning thousands of years, sort of silently challenge our modern ideas about progress? They stand there, enduring reminders that maybe true value isn't always in what's new and fast, but in the resilience of the human spirit and the majesty of nature, and both of those things. Well, they need our active care, our stewardship, if they're going to survive and inspire for another 1,000 years. If you decide to travel to India to explore the World Heritage Sites, we have a recommendation. Five Senses Tours organizes tours across India, which are immersive cultural experiences. You can email contact@fivesensestours.com. Note 5 is written as a numeral in contact@fivesensestools.com. Or WhatsApp 2+919-845-677-446.